Hi guys, and welcome to episode 79 of the Crochet Cakes podcast, a podcast about crochet, sewing, and knitting. How are you guys doing today? I hope you're doing well. I'm not gonna lie, it's been a little bit of a weird day today. It's Sunday, May the 3rd, if you're wondering. It's been weird because I completely forgot I had to podcast. In my mind, I podcasted last week, so I had to podcast this following Sunday, not today, but that's not true. So anyway, how are you doing? As you saw at the beginning of this video, I've been just a tad little busy baking. I've been making all the things with sourdough. I love sourdough baking. If you've never tried it, you have no idea what I'm talking about, but it's like the Tamagotchi for adults. If you remember what those were, if you're a 90s kid, or you had a kid in the 90s, you'll definitely remember the little Tamagotchi things that you used to take care of, and mine always died. So that kind of should have been my warning that I wouldn't be a very good gardener either, but it wasn't. However, thankfully, I am very good at taking care of sourdough starters now that I've gotten back into it. So today's look is a little bit different from last week's. Last week's was fresh and airy, and today is just dark and mysterious. I like to think so, wouldn't I? Anyway, I am wearing a pattern, the first garment pattern I ever put out. It is available on my blog. I've been meaning to update it because I don't actually like it. It's one of those things that I was very excited to design, and then when I did, I'm like, who's gonna wear this? Me? So I'm gonna stand up so you guys can get a full view, but I'll also do an audio description for anybody who's listening and not watching, okay? So I'm standing up, and if you can see, or if you're listening, this shirt is composed of a stitch that kind of looks like a little flower square. It really reminds me of a very 60s flower pattern, and it has 2 rows of that square, and then up at the top we just go in half double crochets, and then we divide the shirt to have a V-neck, and then we just attach some yarns to go for the sleeves. There's nothing really wrong with this construction. It's just that I am not a V-neck person. I really am not. I like high necks. I like that made absolutely no sense. But I like high necks and kind of like the vintage collars and things like that. So I had done a second version of this top last year, actually, because last year at this time I was actually with my parents in Puerto Rico getting ready to get married and doing all that sort of stuff. So my 1-year wedding anniversary is coming up. That's weird. But anyway, back to the garment. I'm gonna have to stand up again because I can't actually reach it. So okay, sitting back down. So this is the second version of this top, and if I didn't mention it, of course I didn't, I'm me, I forget everything. This is the Shieldmaiden top. I was gonna say the summer fan top, but clearly this is not the summer fan top. You guys have heard me talk a whole bunch about that, and if you follow me on Instagram, you've seen a whole bunch of posts, and if you follow me on Pinterest, you will have seen a whole bunch of posts. Clearly, this is not the summer fan top. I'll talk more about that a little bit later. Anyway, back to the Shieldmaiden. So this is the Shieldmaiden top, and this is my second version, as I said. This first version was crocheted in Bernat Home Decor yarn, which is a bulky yarn, but I actually really like it because it's a cotton nylon mixture, and it's kind of a chained yarn, so it's just has great stitch definition, and it stretches, and it's very comfortable actually. So I'm very upset that I decided to go for a V-neck top because I don't like V-necks. Mom, on the other hand, loves this version of the pattern. So, to each to their own. Me, I like this version. This version has a higher collar and a bit of a longer sleeve because these are more like sleeve caps, and they tend to do that weird puffy thing up there. I don't like that. So this one has longer sleeves, and this is crocheted with Casasol Filicolor yarn. It is a cotton yarn, 100% cotton yarn, and it's just combed cotton, so stitch definition again is gorgeous. I don't actually wear this top, even though I prefer it to the original Shieldmaiden top, because I only had 2 cones of this yarn, and it's a bit of an Aran weight yarn, so I probably needed 3. But you know me, I have more than 1 cone, I have more than 100 grams, I'm going to try and make a garment out of it. So that's what I did. And the end result was that this doohickey part of the design, the filet part, crochet of the design, falls right under my boob. So if I lift up my arms, you get boobs, which, you know, all women have, unless you don't, which we won't get into those depressing reasons. Anyway, the point is boobs. So I'm slightly uncomfortable with wearing it, even though I'll usually, you know, wear it with a t-shirt underneath. But I haven't actually brought myself to frog this version because I just love the yarn and I love how it looks. So I guess I just need a shorter person to wear it. Oh, isn't it gorgeous though? It's the, I think this is the volcano colorway. No, caldera, which is a type of volcano. So I guess it kind of is. But it's essentially a burnt orange color, which does wonders for my complexion. Not right now, of course, because right now I just look like a ghost of Christmas past because I haven't been going out in the sun, you know, quarantine people. Even though Florida is already all set to end quarantine officially, I think all the businesses start reopening on tomorrow, May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. You knew that was coming. Anyway, it opens, the businesses start opening tomorrow, May the 4th. I'm actually back at work. I've been working from home since I uploaded the podcast 2 weeks ago, actually, because I uploaded that on a Sunday and I got called on Monday saying, hey, we're going to start working on Tuesday. So that happened. Thankfully, we're working from home until May 11th, which I'm very thankful for. I honestly don't want to step foot back into my office. I don't like my job. Anyway, clearing this out, right? Okay, I'm kind of afraid to put it back on my sticky hooks because my sticky hooks keep falling. Do you guys have that problem when you try hanging things? Okay, well, I'm gonna test it and I'm gonna leave it up there. And if it lasts through the entirety of the podcast, yay, I actually put a sticky hook right. Anyway. Right, so what else has been going on? If you follow me on Instagram, which I upload content there, if not daily, then every other day, I participated in the This Old Thing challenge, and it was a challenge organized by Pip Jolly and Forever Yours Betty. Those are their Instagram handles. And basically it was just to kind of renew a love for secondhand clothing. It could be vintage or it couldn't be vintage. It didn't really matter. But I posted a couple of, well, I posted almost every single day. I think I missed one day and I missed the tops day because I wasn't feeling it. It fell on a Saturday and I really was just like, blah, blah, and I didn't want to get dressed up, didn't want to put makeup, didn't want to do a photo shoot, so, you know, I didn't do that day. But I did every other day, and I tried to pair some pieces with crochet so you can see how I style crochet. And speaking of, I have saved on my highlights on Instagram a little section called How I Style Crochet, and that's where I will be uploading looks so you can see how I actually wear the pieces of crochet that I make, and some of them are wool, and I just want to show you that yes, I even wear those wool ones, even though I live in Florida and right now it's baking degrees. But so I apologize. My brain is a little bit all over the place because, as I said, I didn't expect to podcast today. But I did podcast today. So anyway, this opening challenge kind of reawakened my obsession with vintage and high-waisted skirts. But more importantly than that, it kind of reminded me that the fashions that I really love are the 60s shift dresses or mod kind of style dresses, that they're little tight and then they kind of flare out a little bit. Bell dresses, I honestly do not know the term for them, but if you were, walking around in the 60s, wearing these dresses, please let me know what they were called down below, because they are my favorite style of dresses. And of course, I was inspired by the love of vintage, and I have 2 new designs that I'm working on that have to do with vintage. Actually, 3. No, 2. Yeah, no, 3. Because I'd forgotten about one of them, but it just popped into my head. So one of them is going to be a dress that I'll be sharing with you in a little bit. Not because it's finished, but I have started it. And the other one is, the other 2 are purses. So I'm very excited to be sharing those with you in the future. I don't know if it's going to be the near future, but it's going to be in a future. And speaking of things that I'm sharing with you in the future, tomorrow, on May the 4th, the Endor Moon sock pattern goes live. And I don't actually have it here to show you, but as you can tell by the name, the Endor Moon sock pattern is a Star Wars inspired sock pattern. So it's going live on May the 4th. It'll be free on my blog. It's available in English and in Espanol for those of you that are bilingual or only speak Spanish or only do patterns in Spanish. It will be in English and Espanol. So yay, that's going live tomorrow. The PDF is not going live yet because I want to make sure it's extra perfect. I've been having a lot of issues counting lately. I kid you not. It's kind of ridiculous. I see a number and I don't actually compute. Well, I don't know what's going on. But for example, I posted on my Instagram stories, which I deleted once I realized a mistake, but I was posted that I was close to 2,000 followers, which is crazy and amazing. So thank you to everyone that has liked my feed enough or liked my personality or whatever inspired you to follow me on Instagram. Thank you. Where was I going with this? Right, so I took a screenshot of my profile page and I'm like, oh look, I'm four followers away from 2,000. Guys, it said 1,949 or 50 followers. Does that seem like 4 followers away? No, I don't know what I was thinking, but stuff like that has been happening. I've been measuring my gauge and I measure it 3, 4, 5 times, and somebody messaged me, so thank you for bringing that to my attention, on the summer fan top. And they're like, my gauge matches stitch-wise but not row-wise. So I take out my top and I measure again, and I felt like just slapping myself. I kind of did actually. I went, and anyway, who measures things 10 times and writes down that they measured 10 instead of the actual? I don't know. Me and numbers are just not computing lately, so I think it's a really good thing that I'm not actually putting out numbers that require a lot of counting. Even though for the Endor Moon sock pattern it was more measurements than counting, but I've done a couple of socks, not as much as some people, but yes. So I want to triple check that the PDF version of the Endor Moon sock pattern will be as perfect as I can get it for you guys. And of course I need to upload the video tutorial on YouTube, because while the pattern is free, both English and Spanish, on the blog, it's free. You don't have to pay for it. I just, you might think I get ad money, but I have yet to see a paycheck from the ads, and I'm honestly considering just taking them off from my blog, because it's like 10 cents per 1,000 views. So unless you actually have 30,000 views, which is what I'm aiming for, anyway, please walk a straight line, Elizabeth. Do not tell a story like this to then get to your point. The point of it all was that whilst all the patterns are free on my blog, you can, if you want, go on Etsy, which I may actually remove myself from Etsy. But for the moment, you can go on Etsy and for $3 or $2, download the pattern and you will get some little bonus things. So I'm working on the bonus things for the older patterns that I had published, but for now, for the Endor Moon Crochet Sock pattern, you get a video tutorial just to walk you through the process of sock making, and then you get for the summer fan top, you get a row count for the body, so it's really easy to keep track of your rows. Those are some of the extra things. Right, so now that I've waffled, blathered, talked, went nowhere with this conversation, I think I'm going to move on to the actual finished objects, because I have, I forgot one of the finished objects. I have 3 finished objects, okay? So I'm going to take a pause right here to go get my 3rd finished object, and I will be right back. Right, back. Okay. So one of the finished objects that I have is sewing. I know, who am I? I finished something sewn again. And it's a little bartending bag for my husband. He asked if I would make him a bag to put his cocktail shakers and some little bartending tools that he has. So I made him this one. And I'm not making any sense. Okay, we're deleting that part. If you're a movie fanatic, you will recognize this quote. I just thought it was very appropriate for kind of a bar. And then in the back, I actually did some embroidery. He asked me to embroider his name, and I have done that. It was really fun, actually, to do some embroidery again. And the inside has Zelda fabric, Legend of Zelda fabric, and it's got lots of pockets, so he can put his little supplies in. And I did do interfacing. Yes, I did, because I wanted it to just stand up on its own. I love a hard bag. My zipper bags, I want them to be nice and sturdy and stand up on their own, and then my drawstring bags, I want them to be all soft and quilted. So that's finished object numero uno. Finished object numero dos is a prototype, and it was a prototype that was inspired by a 60s bamboo bag, purse that I saw on Pinterest. I saved the pin. I'll include it down here so you can kind of see the inspiration. But I wanted to design a basket based on this inspiration, and I did, but I wasn't really happy with it. This is my first attempt at designing a basket that was inspired by the bamboo stitch. Now, I'm going to call this my first attempt and the first prototype because I actually got the stitch wrong. I'm using the billows stitch, or I was supposed to be, but instead of using treble crochets, and that's US trebles, I used double crochets. Don't ask. I didn't read the pattern correctly, I guess. But anyway, bag has a super sturdy bottom because it's thermal stitch at the bottom, and then it's got this it's basically a alternated front post stitch in the front that kind of creates this bamboo-like weave that I'm very happy with. And then I just did several rows of single crochets so I could put some handles on the short sides of the bag so you can pick it up kind of like that. And I wanted this basket to go under my dining room table so I could put the placemats when I'm not using them, because I get really annoyed when I see stuff on top of the table. So I made this one using 3 balls of Lion brand Woolies Thick and Quick, and I think the colorway is Urban Camo, and I used a 6.5mm hook. It wasn't as sturdy as I wanted the bag to be. So then I had another idea of what if I made the bag in the round. So I did, but the thermal stitch doesn't really work in the round, or at least not the way I attempted to make it. So This version, which by the way is standing up all on its own, this is the actual version I'm going to write up as a pattern for you guys, and it uses a very, very sturdy stitch at the bottom and the billows stitch for the body, and then just a couple of rows of single crochet. And I believe this is 4.5 wide at the bottom, and I made it using Burnout Softy Chunky yarn in the colorway Emerald. My camera doesn't pick up this color very well, but I sort of think about deep ocean blue. It's kind of what the color looks like. And Burnout Softy Chunky is actually a lighter weight than the Lion Brand Woolies Thick and Quick, but I think it works better for the pattern actually. It doesn't have as much weight, so it didn't weigh itself down. And I also used a 6.5mm hook for it. And incidentally, this is a work in progress. I'm working up on some photos to go along with the pattern so I can get that all written up for you guys. And those are my only finished objects, so I guess this actually transitions well into works in progress. As I just showed you, I'm working on another basket to take some photos for you guys and just to make sure that I've counted well. Another work in progress that I have, I actually started it last night, is a thermal stitch pot holder, and I'm just using the stitch count provided in the pattern by Sewrella. I think she calls it double thick pot holder or something like that. I'm using, as the pattern calls for, it's a free pattern, 2 yarns held together and a 6mm hook. Now the first time I crocheted this pot holder, I used Premier Home whatever yarn, but I did use a 6.5mm hook, and it worked out nice and really thick and not holey, so you can actually grab things and the heat doesn't go through. But for this one, I'm using 2 colors, brown, it's kind of like a light chocolate brown, milk chocolate color, and a Knit Picks Dishy. This one is Calista by Shieldmaiden, blah blah blah. Okay, and this one's Dishy by Knit Picks, and the color is a teal. So I'm using brown and teal held together because you're supposed to use 2 yarns held together. But either my gauge loosened or they're thinner than the Premier Home, because I actually had to go down to a 6mm hook to work it up. But I just love how these 2 colors are working up. The teal and the brown together kind of make it look like a bronze. And I absolutely love it. And I'm actually working with a hook that I don't like that much, and it's a Knit Pro Zing. I don't actually like this hook because, if you can tell, let's compare with the Clover one that I have. The head of this hook is wider and flatter. It's kind of duller head, and it's not pointy. And the actual hook part is not as good for grabbing yarn either, even though the space between the hook, I don't know, I'm not a fan, but hey, it's working pretty well with these 2, so there is that. The other thing I kind of have a work in progress, I guess, is I did a video tutorial for the Billows stitch, and I just have to edit it and upload it. Probably won't upload it this week. I'll probably upload it next week, because tomorrow I'm uploading the podcast. And the other works in progress that I have, all 3, are garments. I went garment crazy, and I don't regret it. And in fact, I'm still garment crazy, and I'm thinking of yarns that I have in my stash that I can use to write up this pattern, Shieldmaiden pattern that I'm wearing. Right, so let's show you some stuff. Okay, so the other garment I have, it's kind of on pause, but it is a work in progress, and it is a DK weight version of my bobble and time top. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, the bobble in, there goes the yarn. The bobble and time top is a fingering weight top crocheted with wool yarn that has a bubble fringe at the bottom, and it's just double crochets all the way up, and it's got some sleeve shaping and then some neck shaping, and the neck actually is similar to this one. Okay, so I was working up a DK weight version unintentionally, and it's because I was looking at a skirt that I have that's very summery, and I don't actually have any tops that I can wear with it. And one of the colors is the same orange as this color that I'm holding up, which is Mango by Lolly by Conway and Bliss. And it's a discontinued pattern. It's basically a chain plied yarn, which is a cotton polyester blend. So I'm gonna look up yarn substitutions when I actually finish working up this pattern. But the bottom, it's a contrasting bobble band, and it's actually made in wool yarn because originally, so I wouldn't have to buy more yarn, because as I said, this yarn is discontinued and I only had 2.5 balls left, and they were 50-gram balls, so that's about 125 grams. So originally I was going to stripe this reddish orange with the more yellowy orange, okay? But when I did, it kind of ended up looking like the Spanish flag. And I believe I mentioned that last episode. But why am I showing this to you again? It's because I finished the sleeve shaping and I've done my little armhole shaping thing. And this one's a lot shorter because I wanted a really cropped version of the Bobble and Time top, because the skirt I'm going to pair it with is very high waist, and I do not like wearing high-waisted skirts with wide, long blouses. I like cropped. If I'm wearing a high-waisted skirt, it's got to be cropped. The shirt, not the skirt. So I'm waiting on more yarn because I actually found a seller on Amazon that had it, and I ordered 3 balls, which should be more than enough because this is what I have left of the 3rd ball. So this is still enough to add some rows to the top if I need to, and weave in, sew the garment together and make the sleeves. Hopefully, we'll see. The other work in progress that I have is a second version of my summer fan top, and this version is not for me. And I'm working it up on yarn that's significantly different from the one I just used to design the pattern. So when I designed the pattern, as I've mentioned in the actual blog post, I wanted a yarn that was cotton based and it was thin enough that you could actually use it in the summer, because having lived 28 years of my life in tropical environments, when it's hot, wearing the thinnest of garments is still uncomfortable. I don't know why. The Spaniards and the British thought they had to tell the Native Americans to wear clothes that were constricting because they had the right idea. I'm just saying. The Native Americans had the right idea. You dress for the weather, okay? Anyway, rant over. So yes, the original yarn was a fingering weight yarn that I actually bought off Amazon, and I loved the yarn. It's a Autumn Winds by Lotus Yarns, and it is a cotton cashmere blend. It is 90% cotton, 10% cashmere. That 10% cashmere makes all the difference in the world when you're working with cotton. It feels softer, more luxurious, it's got a little bit of a shine to it, and it's also got a little bit more of a better stretch to it because of that cashmere. But this second version, I am actually working it up in Daisy yarn. And I've had this yarn in my stash for about a year, and it's a yarn by Knit One Crochet too. They still make this yarn, so if you're interested, you can go to their website. They have this yarn in the loveliest chartreuse color. But I refrained. Anyway, so this is in 38% linen, 32% silk, 30% hemp yarn. It is rough to work with because linen is not the easiest yarn to work with, but when you wash it, it stretches significantly. So I'm making this top for my mother. She might get it for Christmas. I don't know. We'll see. And I'm working it up in 2 colors actually, and even though Mom is a little bit wider than me because she has better boobs than me, I am still working up the small because linen tends to stretch a lot, and so does hemp. So I'm making the size small, but this one will have a lot. Just look at the stretch it's gonna have, and I haven't even wet this fabric. So I am working it in the silver color and also the patina color, and this is, I'm holding them up right now. So the patina color is a true patina. This is what you get if you expose copper to alcohol, is it? I don't know. Anyway, so I wanted to work it up in this yarn because I wanted to give you guys an option and also show you how changing the yarn fibers from those recommended in the pattern will change the way your item crochets, stretches, and wears, okay? And I'm very excited to share that with you, but like I said, I'll probably get it done in December. And the third garment is the one that was inspired by the This Old Thing challenge and my love of 60s style shift dresses. And it's kind of like what I intended. So when I first designed the Bobble in Time top, I actually wanted to design a dress. So that's what I've done. Or, you know, that's what I plan to do. So, whoa. Don't die. This is a strip of bobble stitch that measures approximately 5 inches, and this is the beginning of my 60s shift dress. So the idea is to have this thick bubble band at the bottom, and then just, I haven't decided how I'm going to do the top yet, but okay. I'm working it in pieces because I feel that garments crocheted in pieces fall better than garments done in the round, even though my lazy person loves top down and in the round because less ends, right? And anyway, so I'm working this nice little thick band of bobble stitch, and honestly, I'm a bit fed up of making bobble stitch, so I'll probably stop the bobble stitch band here. And I am using the most gorgeous yarn. I don't want to say ever, but it's currently my obsession, and I'm thinking about designing 10 different garments in this yarn. And this is Lion Brand Collection yarn. It is a cotton bamboo blend. You guys know how much I love a cotton bamboo blend. And it's just, look at the stitch definition. It's in a green color, and it's called Snapdragon because green, hello, yes. And I believe, because I do not have a ball band here, that this Lion Brand yarn is 50-50 cotton bamboo. So it'll have gorgeous, gorgeous drape. So when I was looking for yarns to design this pattern in, one of the most important things for me was actually the fiber content of the yarn, because it needed to have drape. It could not be a stiff, just hanging thing that you wear and it feels like a tent. So I'm very happy with this. I actually started crocheting it with a 4.5mm hook, and then I was like, oh, let's go down to a 4.25. Let's start decreasing. I had the same gauge. Don't ask me how. I had the same gauge with a 4.5mm hook as I did with the 4.25, which no one's ever been able to explain the mystery of why in the US a G hook is a 4.25 and everywhere else it's a 4mm. I don't know. But either way, I am using a 4.25mm for the bottom band, and then I will, I don't know, work up some decreases, maybe change my hook size. This is a work pattern in progress, guys. Who knows where this will take me? Hopefully, it'll take me beautiful, gorgeous places that I'll be very excited to share with you, because this yarn. Okay, so what else have I been up to? I haven't ordered yarn. Well, okay, I did, but I ordered 10 balls of that Snapdragon, but it's for business. It's for my business, guys. But I did have yarn come in that had nothing to do with me. This was my not gift exchange, my sock swap exchange thing that was organized by Anna from Stitchcraft and Wizardry. Hi, Anna. Anyway, so this is my sock that the lovely partner knit in green yarn. This is the tone of this green is very Luck of the Irish green, unlike the green that I was using for the bubble top, which is more of a olive green. I love green though. Anyway, so yes, she did a contrasting toe and heel, and she did them in variegated yarn. Words. But receiving a sock knit by someone else makes me realize that maybe I knit in the wrong direction, because my knitting, I can actually feel it a lot more than this knitting. So I'm gonna have to maybe watch some, oh, wait a minute guys. I just realized that there's more green yarn there. Hello. What else have I been up to? Well, I've read a book. It's called, it's titled The Vine Witch, and I ordered it off of Kindle with audio because my intention was to have someone read it to me so I could crochet. I should have probably listened to the sample because I did not like this woman's voice. So of course I had to stop crocheting to actually read the book. But it was a particularly fast read. I bought it because The Vine Witch, vines as in wine, and witch as in, you know, witches, that's kind of self-explanatory, and romance. Did I like the book? I have mixed feelings. I thought the book had great potential. Wine, witchcraft, and romance, how could that go wrong? Well, the romance part, I don't know where they got it from, because female, male meet. Let's discuss 1 or 2 times they've interacted together. Fast forward to 2 months, we're in love. But it still had a very interesting concept, because the idea is that in the Chanceau Valley in France, the reason the wine is so great is because the witches protect vineyards. That was so cool. Doesn't that sound cool? Yeah. So, how's the disappointed? Right. But what else have I been up to? Lots of baking, like I showed you in the beginning of the video. Lots of baking. Also lamenting the fact that I don't actually own original Star Wars movies to sit down and watch them tomorrow. It's kind of sad. Also, lamenting the fact that I actually have to go to work on the May 11th, like physically go to work. Anyway, other things that I've been up to that are kind of better. I don't, if you follow me on Instagram, you may remember the journey of me trying to frog bag this jumper sweater that I had purchased years ago at Marshall's for about $10. And it's an acrylic sweater that basically has blocks of cream, yellow, and black. And it's in very neon yellow. I absolutely love this sweater. But I gained 10 pounds and I don't fit in it anymore. So I was gonna give it away. And then I got really sad because I really like this sweater, and following the This Old Thing challenge, it kind of gave me a new appreciation for the art that my hands can do. So I thought to myself, why not frog this sweater, keep the yarn, and either crochet or knit it again in a size that fits you by adding more yarn, because the cream color yarn looks a lot like the bone colorway from Karen Simply Soft, but this has been a nightmare to frog. And also it's just horribly cheap acrylic. Like, there's acrylic and there's acrylic, okay? And this is acrylic. So I kind of gave up. but then I feel bad giving up. Oh, I don't know. What would you guys do? Let me know in the comments below. What else? I think that's pretty much all I've been up to, other than, you know, thinking up little patterns in my brain that I'm so excited to work on. But the problem is that I get so excited that I just want to get them done really fast, because I'm in my excitement, I don't enjoy the process. So I'm trying to work on that as well, because it's not good for my joint pain, which is still a thing, and it's very annoying. But yes, what have you guys been up to? Please let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, then please do so by hitting the subscribe button. And before I leave, thank you. Oh, I don't even know how many times to say it, to the nth degree, for all the love that you have given the summer fan top. I'm trying not to cry. I got so emotional because you know, this was the work of about 3 months, and when I published it in the blog, I was so nervous, because you always get that degree of, oh my god, I'm completely gonna fail at this and this is gonna be horrible. But thank you so much for sharing your love for this garment that I designed. I've worn a couple of times. But yeah, thank you. And I will see you guys in 2 weeks' time. Who knows where I'll be in 2 weeks' time, because every time I say something's gonna happen, or every time I think things are gonna stay the same, somebody calls me and things change. So it's a little bit poof, but you know, that's life. Please stay safe, hang in there. I'm sending you lots of love, and just wishing you and all your friends and all your family and all the people you care for and all your pets, if you have pets and aren't allergic, or if you're allergic and you still have pets, I'm just sending you guys all the love. So thank you so much for watching this episode, and I will see you again in 2 weeks' time. Bye!